Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Jo Re Mi Fa Sol La Keto. I am Jo Re and I'm doing a weekly vlog to share my keto weight loss progress. I am actually not new to keto. I lost about 50 pounds in 2018 and maintained that weight loss for a couple years until the nightmare we know as 2020. I gained all the weight that I had lost and then some, and then in January I was in a better headspace and I restarted keto and I've lost over 40 pounds so far. So let's keep going and see how I did this week. As I mentioned in my previous video, my husband and I celebrated our 10-year wedding anniversary on Friday. We got massages and then we drove to a mountain casino town a couple hours away for a couple nights, just the two of us. For my diet this week, my plan was to stay keto until we went to the mountain town on Sunday. So I'm going to talk first about the keto plan that I followed throughout the week, and then I'll go into more of what I ate during my off-plan days after that. As I've mentioned in previous videos, when I am keto, I eat 2 meals a day and a small bulletproof coffee, so I meal prep for 3 meals every week. My first keto meal this week was a pork roast chaffle sandwich. I made the pork roast in the oven and then sliced it up. I put half of it in the freezer so I can use it for later, and the other half I just put inside sandwiches. In the sandwiches, I added Swiss cheese, onions, green chilies, and mayo, and some Dijon mustard. For me, chaffle sandwiches are always so easy to make, and I like that you can switch up the ingredients week after week. For my second meal, I made ham and Swiss roll-ups and a side of roasted zucchini. I dipped the roll-ups in a keto honey mustard sauce, which is basically just mustard, mayo, and some monk fruit. I actually really liked this meal, and I found myself going back to it day after day. I probably would have eaten more of it had I not run out of ham. For my third meal this week, I made bruschetta chicken. I feel like basil is in season. I keep seeing it everywhere, so I thought it would be a good idea. Although balsamic vinegar can have a lot of carbs, the bruschetta itself only called for like a teaspoon of balsamic vinegar in the whole thing, which made a few meals. And the marinade had a couple of tablespoons of the balsamic vinegar, so I didn't feel like it was enough to warrant like not using it. I'll put a link in the description to the recipe that I followed in case you'd like to try it. The only change I made on this one was I used a shallot instead of the red onion. This turned out pretty good, but I did feel like I was reaching for other meals instead of this one throughout the week, but my husband really liked it. So I'm filming this video on Tuesday, so I just got back from my trip. Normally each week I talk about what I did the previous week, which would have been the previous Monday through Sunday, but since my trip kind of like was in the middle, I decided I'm just going to talk about the trip in this video. For my trip, my plan was to only have one off keto meal every day, but that kind of went out the window. First, my husband stopped at Crumble Cookies and he picked up some cookies that we could take on the way there. And if you don't have a Crumble in your area, they make the most amazing cookies, and they're pretty big cookies too. So I ended up getting a sugar cookie, a peanut butter cookie, and a banana cream cookie. My husband also went a little crazy at Costco and bought this huge bag of caramel and cheese popcorn and then a container of cheese danishes. The first day we stopped at Table Mountain Inn, which is a restaurant in Golden on the way to the mountain casino. I totally forgot to take a picture, but for the appetizer we did get some chips and salsa and some queso. Then for my meal, I ordered the breakfast chilaquiles, which is basically Mexican breakfast nachos. To me, these were just okay. I did end up eating about half of them, but it wasn't something that I was like so happy that I had ordered that. I also snacked on popcorn and the sugar cookie throughout the day. And then for dinner, we ate at a restaurant inside the hotel that we were staying at. I ordered the pasta carbonara and added some chicken on that. And again, these portions were just so huge. I didn't end up eating everything, but I did end up sneaking a couple of the onion rings for my husband though. For me, the meals on the first day were not as amazing or as good as I had hoped they would be. For me, the only really good item was that sugar cookie. I knew I had kind of overdid it throughout the day, and the one thing that I just really forgot about was how carbs make me feel. I was up in the middle of the night and I just felt horrible. I honestly was debating to myself whether or not I was gonna try to make myself throw up. And I ended up not throwing up and just went back to sleep and just dealt with it. I still wasn't feeling great that next day, and our original plan was to go back to Golden and go to a wood-fired pizza place for lunch, and I just wasn't feeling up to that heavy of a meal. I ended up getting some coffee, and then we didn't eat lunch until about 2 o'clock. We went to a cafe in a different casino, and I ordered the chicken nachos, and in my head I was thinking, okay, all the toppings are keto, and the only thing that's not keto are the tortilla chips, so maybe this is a good middle ground. Little did I know how humongous the serving of nachos was going to be. My husband did help me eat some of them, but honestly, by the time I was even done with them, it barely looked like I had made a dent. The nachos were pretty good though, and we made a dinner reservation at a really fancy restaurant for 7 o'clock. But by the time that it was time to go eat dinner, I was still pretty full from lunch. So I ended up ordering just a couple of the veggie sides. I ordered the beet salad with burrata, and then I also ordered the Brussels sprouts. My husband ordered the truffle lobster mac and cheese, and I had a couple bites of that, and honestly, we didn't even eat like all of the veggie sides. I did also have like a slice of bread with the butter that they put on the table once you get to the table. Everything was really good, but we just didn't end up eating everything because we were still really full from lunch. I also did snack on popcorn and the peanut butter cookie throughout the day. Luckily, I didn't wake up feeling sick that night. The last day, today, we ended up stopping at Snooze for brunch on the way home. This was the same restaurant that we went to on my last cheat day, and oh my gosh, I would say this was the best meal of the whole weekend. They make these egg Benedict sandwiches, and I couldn't decide between the two, but luckily they had the option for a duo where you can pick two on the same plate. So I picked a ham and cheese one for one of them, and the other one was a pork belly eggs Benedict with like a cranberry relish on them. They were so good. I also shared some of the blueberry pancakes with my husband. And again, these portions were really big. We ended up only eating one of the pancakes, and we still have the other one in the fridge. I haven't eaten dinner yet, but I probably won't keep it keto. I've been really craving Chinese food, so I'm probably gonna eat that and just get that craving out of the way. I will say though, I will be back on keto tomorrow. I've already started my meal prepping for the week, so I do plan to stay on, and I'm not even really sure when my next cheat day is gonna be. We do have a trip coming up right after the 4th of July, but honestly right now, in the way that I feel, I'm probably gonna try to stay keto for that trip. I just don't wanna feel bad while I'm, out and about and supposed to have fun. Although a part of me really enjoyed being able to eat whatever I want, what I don't like and what I forgot about is just how I feel when I eat carbs. I feel tired and groggy and swollen. I mean, I kind of already see it in my face. Like I can feel my cheeks being like more swollen than normal. So let's go ahead and move on to exercise. So my plan is to work out for 6 days a week, and I worked out for 5 days this week. And honestly, I think I'm gonna keep it at 6. My goal is always to be 6, and if I get 5, I still feel like that's pretty good. But I also don't wanna say, hey, I'm gonna move it to 5, and then it ends up being like 4 sometimes. I would rather do it the other way around and aim for 6. I was able to get all my running in this week. Here are my running stats. My plan this week for my running was to run 3 miles, however long that took. On the first day though, I was already feeling kind of like I had a slight headache that morning, and it was really hot out that day. And so about a mile and a half in, I just ended up feeling really lightheaded and just kind of off. So I decided to listen to my body, and I ended up just walking the rest of the way home and stopped my run. And I feel that is something that we all really need to do, is just really understand your body and understand the difference between pushing yourself and when it's too much. And in this case for me, it just felt like it was too much, and I decided to, listen to my body and just walk the rest of the way home. And now for my weight. Dun dun dun! Just kidding. I weighed myself before I left on my trip on Sunday, and on Sunday I weighed 198 pounds, so that's a loss of 1 pound for the week for my keto days. As of today, like 10 minutes ago, my current weight is 201.8 pounds, so that's a gain of 3.8 pounds for the off-plan days. So basically the 2.5 days so far. And actually, I'm really surprised at that. I thought it was gonna be higher, especially because I am weighing myself later in the day. I normally weigh myself first thing in the morning, but I am weighing myself later in the day after I've eaten a pretty large meal. So I am surprised that that gain is only 3.8 pounds. Now to see how fast I can get those pounds off, because I really need to see that 1 back in the beginning of my weight ASAP. Okay everyone, that is all that I have for the week. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the little bell icon to get a notification every time I post a new video. See you next week. Bye.